Hello, everybody. This is the Chocolate News Podcast, and I'm your co host, John Alexander Reese.
And I'm your co-host, Andria Carter.
And if you didn't know, the Cincinnati Herald has been around since 1955 and is the leading African American owned newspaper in the greater Cincinnati area and northern Kentucky area. How you doing, Andrea?
Oh, I'm doing fine. This is the second week back from the holidays, and I'm getting into the swing of things. And it's just I'm just moving on to get along. And unfortunately, the weather's about to turn snowy,
Yeah, I
which
know.
I very conveniently missed the first time, but I'm not going to miss it now.
Oh my goodness.
So,
That snow is awful.
well, I'm prepared. I just don't have salt in my trunk, but that's okay. I got two shovels and my wits about me, so I
All
can
right.
navigate anything. Look, if you can survive living in the Pocono Mountains in a nor'easter and a blizzard, you can survive anything. So I'm good.
So true.
Oh
So,
yeah.
what's the chocolate news of the week?
Well, the chocolate news of the week is that we have some tremendous highs and some one low, but I'm going to start with a couple of highs. The first one I want to, even though it's past, this past weekend, well, I should say within the last weekend, this past weekend, we saw the deltas, the alphas, the sigmas, and yours truly favorite, the alpha kappa alphas, all celebrated their Founders Day because a lot of our sororities and fraternities were founded in January. And I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and I'm actually just became the treasurer of my local chapter in Cincinnati, the Sigma Omega chapter.
All right.
And but the organization celebrated our 115th anniversary. So I just want to
Wow.
say congratulations to all of our Greek brothers and sisters who are celebrating their Founders Days. Even though we do a little dig here and there on different colors and things like that, we're all Greek under our skin. And it's a wonderful organization to belong to whenever you're starting out in life. I know for me, it was a great icebreaker to when I lived around the country. I knew if I found the local sorority chapter, I had instant sisters and friends who could help me navigate where I lived. So I recommend it to everybody. Don't take any stuff, but it's a wonderful community service organizations. They believe in scholarship, education, and leadership. And I think that benefits everybody by belonging to something like that. Even if you don't belong to Greek, but if you belong to the Masons or the Shriners or the Elks or any other organization that helps you empower you and teach you about leadership, join it and do it. So that's my call of action for today. But with that, I will start with the huge, huge, huge high. Hooday, the Bengals
Hooday.
won, and they won after that awesome fumble and recovery by Sam Hubbard, making history with a 98-yard recovery of a fumble. It was unbelievable. I mean, the Ravens quarterback, his face on the screen was like, what the heck happened? I won't say what he actually said, but you could just tell it's like, I threw the ball, we should have had a touchdown, and said they got a touchdown. You could just see the confusion on their faces as to what happened. But that fumble saved our season. And I think everyone is looking forward to the next game on Sunday against the Buffalo Bills. Though everyone is a little miffed by the NFL supposedly starting to sell tickets for what they perceive as the Bills chief game for the AFC Championship, which I think is
Really?
an insult
I was not
to the
aware of that.
Bengals. Oh yes, I think in anticipation of trying to anticipate who may win because it's coming down to the last two games of who's going to be determined who's going to play for a spot in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're just anticipating, well, we'll just go ahead and tell them and them because we think they'll win and not the Bengals. And I was just kind of like, we went to the Super Bowl last year. We're determined to go this year. You don't
Yeah.
you don't kick an underdog. you know.
Exactly. That would give me even more motivation to win.
Well, Joe, I won't. Joe Mixon was asked. I was on Twitter looking at some reaction, and Joe Mixon was asked today about it. I can't say what he said on the air, but let's just say that it was a bunch of stuff. And Joe Burrow said, "Let everyone understand we are the defending AFC champions." And I don't know what anyone is thinking. So I'm paraphrasing what he said.
Yeah.
Again, I wasn't in the press conference, but I saw what it was said, what was quoted on Twitter. And you know, I follow a lot of stuff on Twitter. So,
Right. Right.
but that being said, so we're looking forward to Sunday. We also had in remembrance of Dr. Martin Luther King in Cincinnati, we had the march. There are a number of wonderful programs. There were so many programs going on, I could not get to everything. I heard that the keynote speaker at the Freedom Center was fantastic. She spoke again in the afternoon, and both times she was incredible. Then the music hall program was wonderful and inspiring. And then I went to, you know, everyone gathered at Washington Park after the march down Vine Street, and everyone was just enthusiastic about the march. And I think the fact that it was not freezing cold this time, a lot more people came out to march, and everyone was very enthusiastic. And then also, what was also interesting, everyone who's starting to run for an office is collecting their signatures to get them on the ballot. So I would say, as long as you have a valid address and you're a registered voter, please sign those petitions. Everyone has a right to get on the ballot. Help everyone get on the ballot and give them a chance to let them be heard, to be reelected, the council members who are running for reelection, or new people who are looking to either try to replace them, or people seeking a spot on the school board or any other local races coming up this year. Give everyone a shot, because you never know who's going to be working on your behalf. So that's my 20-second message to voting.
Yeah.
But the MLK Day, I attended the Keep the Dream Alive Award ceremony at Church of Resurrection, which was wonderful and inspiring. I would just say that Judge Melba Marsh, who is in her 7th and final term in office as judge, was always inspirational. She always has, she gives 3 parts, and then she has a great wit. So she's fantastic. And then also all of the winners who received recognition this year for their work, Barbara Bush, I should say Sister Barbara Bush, who is the co-founder of Working Neighborhoods. She has helped to put a number of families who have been in low-income areas, you never could afford a house before, now own homes. So she's been working on that behalf. Vera Dirksen, she won an award. Pastor Robert Lee Harris, who's been around for a number of years doing a community activist. Jacqueline Renee Emerson, she was also received an award. And also Kathy O'Malley, who is a prized member of Church of Resurrection for all the good work that she's done with the church's food bank and other things. But really what was outstanding were the brothers, Tremel Williams and Tyler Williams, who happens to be the coach of Taft High School. And together, they are an awesome team. They train the young men for athletics. Tyler is an interesting coach. He's taken Taft High School to the state championships, which was never expected before. So I think we'll be watching these 2 young men for a long time in the Cincinnati athletic community. And I think they are going to show that you don't have to be at the high-end schools to be a champion and a winner. As long as you believe in the athletics and the strength and leadership, you can go far. And I think they're going to be the best role models to teach our young men that on the athletic field. So that was the MLK Day. And again, everyone, quoted Dr. King, believer in the dream and things like that. And I think everyone just continue to give to the community and show what you're made of. We'll move far. Then there was a disturbing story. You and I were talking about this earlier, John. The disturbing story about the shooter who shot the teen mom and her baby that had targeted a family in Goshen, California, over I guess drugs. I don't know what it was over,
Yeah.
or was
It's
it gang
it's
initiation or something like that.
it had to be something like that. Yeah.
And they live in a small community in California, and it was a mass shooting. They killed not only a 10-month-old, but also the grandmother, the I guess the either the grandfather or the parents, and it's just horrific what occurred. The fact that the 16-year-old teen mom was holding her 10-month-old child and was shot in the head multiple times, that just disturbs me. And they said the way that she was shot, the shooter, she tried to escape the shootings and they tracked her down and shot her. And they stood over her and shot her, which is appalling to me. The fact that they even killed an innocent child, barely 10 months into their life, and they're killed in a horrific fashion. You know, some angels were made on that night in California. It's just horrific what happened. I only hope that they catch the shooter. I know they arrested someone in suspicion, but I don't know for sure if that he is the guy who did the shooting. So we'll have to hear more about this story. And then, you know, there's been a number of horrific stories of violence against Black and Brown people around the country, which is horrible. And we just need to take a stand and do something about this. I don't
It
believe you should resolve things with a gun. So
yeah, and it's just really sad, especially when you kill a teen mother and her baby. I'm just like, you have to be like a special kind of evil to do that. That was just so unsettling.
that I mean, number one, as a teenager, she's barely started to live, and she has a child, and you know they're both still forming what they could be, and it's sad. It's just
Yeah,
sad.
it really is.
So I just I don't know what to say about this story, but we'll keep on top of it. And as there are updates, we will update our readers and listeners as well. And I would say another interesting story. I don't know what to say. There have been some classified documents found in Joe Biden's office of his think tank and in his home. And you know, people are jumping on it. They want an investigation. And but at the same, Joe Biden was even surprised that there were records in his office.
That's not a good look.
It's no, it's not. It's not good.
Oh,
You know, probably he thought they were returned, or there might be, you know, there are those classified records that really are low level, you know, but eventually
yeah,
probably return to the archives. Who knows? I don't know what's going on yet. I know they've been slow to respond because I think everyone's been caught off guard about this.
yeah,
But at the same time, I'm not surprised at it.
right, right,
But it's not what Donald Trump had.
exactly.
And he's not refusing to turn them over. He's not
Yeah,
hiding them. He forgot they were there. They might have been gotten for, and on top of it, they're not as many as Donald Trump. Donald Trump had over 100 classified documents that pertain to national security and things like that. These documents, they're like, well, we found classified documents, but they don't sound national security-esque. You
yeah,
know, there's no alarm, but then again, we don't know what they were.
exactly. The only thing that I hate though is like, because everyone on the right wing is just reinforce is like trying to say Joe Biden is unfit for office, senile old man. And this kind of reinforces that stereotype, unfortunately. But you know
Well,
what? Let's just hope, it was just nothing, nothing serious or whatever.
I'm hoping it's not anything serious, and I think it'll. Joe, he's an all right guy, and I think he's going to come
Yeah,
clean
he's
about
a,
it.
he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy. Yeah.
I think once they apprise of the records, I mean, from the way he sounded, like, I mean, it wasn't like 100; it was like maybe five, two.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's a small amount. Again, I think it was probably reference material that was
Right.
borrowed and forgot to be returned.
Right.
Again, I'm speculating. So
Yeah, but the fact
I,
that he turned them in, it's like, okay, it's just a slip of the mind. You know,
Yeah,
it's just it's and that's how I hope it's that's all I hope it is. You know, people
me
forget
too.
sometimes. So,
Yeah, me
you know,
too.
as far as I'm concerned, hopefully this should just be the end of the story. At least that's my hope.
We hope. But then
Yes.
again, the Republicans, they have something to gleam on, though it's weak. It's
Yeah.
very weak
Yeah,
because if they
they're
even use
reaching.
it, they're reaching, they're so badly wanting to reach. And I think what was interesting, I saw a tweet today, where someone talked about the difference between the Democrats and the Republicans. The Democrats have been in power for 2 years and they got this, and this done. The Republicans have been in power and all they're talking about is status quo
Yeah.
and upholding cheats, keeping tax cuts for the wealthy, destroying the middle class, and that's pretty much it.
Oh, I love it when
Um,
they talk about destroying the middle class.
well, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow when the debt ceiling hits. What are they going to do?
Yeah, that should be interesting.
And I mean, the deals, people were still feeling the reverberations of the deals that McCarthy did in for that Speaker of the House debate. Um,
Right.
it is one guy who was supposed to be chairman of House Ways and Means, a guy who wasn't even slated to get it, got it over him. And he was the senior member who got pushed aside. And he's so mad right now. I don't know what's going to happen. But
Yeah.
those deals that McCarthy, his leadership is sketchy already. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting.
It certainly is going to be interesting. You're right about that.
But last but not least, a little exciting news. Benita Brown has been selected as the Northern Kentucky University interim president as they do a national search for a new leader. And is this the first time a Black person has been president of the university?
Yes, I believe so. So it's a really big deal.
And I think this is really, it was announced this morning, and that she will serve until the seventh president is selected and begins their term, which was announced in a press release by the board. She is no stranger to the university. She has been with the university since 2019, and she currently serves as the NKU's vice president and chief strategy officer. So it's a good lateral move for her, so that even if they don't choose her as president, at least it gives her a chance to decide that, you know what, I wonder where else is open to be president of a university and move forward. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I wish her good luck. Being president of any university or college is a tough job. Not only you have to keep students in line, but you have to raise money and keep the university moving. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and I wish her a really good luck.
Yep, me too.
And that is our chocolate news for today.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Andrea. And that's it for today's show. And I want to thank Andrea for going over all the chocolate news. Thank you so much, Andrea.
Oh, it was my pleasure. We're just gonna stay abreast of those stories that we talked about, and maybe you know what, we also need to mention that we'll try and get an update on that story from Mexico. Um,
Right, right. Yeah,
and we're still waiting to hear what happens with that. So we'll see if there's any update. So
yeah, definitely. And remember, folks, you can find more information about today's topics and past podcast episodes on our website, www.cincinnatiherald.com/newsletter, or on our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast app. Our podcast is on Apple, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Amazon, YouTube, and Google Podcasts. In addition, Cincinnati Herald is also looking for news distribution and delivery agents. So please contact our publisher, Walter White, at 513-680-7076 for more information. I'm John Alexander Reese.
and I'm Andria Carter.
And have a good day.